welcome to Gamer's Guide to the Galaxy. The show where we talk about all things gaming, and where I save the intro, and where you can communicate with us by talking in the chat right over here. And I'm Chris.
Jacob.
Adam. I think we got the gun, guys.
I stumbled over myself, but I saved it.
You saved it, though. It was good. It was good.
Yep. You set yourself your own rescue line. You're like, Chris, no! And you pull yourself in.
Yes.
I'm just picturing, like, Chris, like a boat full of Chris's.
Oh, no,
Chris, no!
It's just one Chris.
It's just one. Chris, no! He gives her the water. I got it!
He realizes he's about to fall over the boat, so he takes the rope and he throws it first, and then he falls on his own rope. He's like, thank goodness, Chris. Thanks, Chris. And then he jumps back over the railing.
He realizes he's gonna fall off the boat, so he has enough time to like run over, grab a rope, throw the rope over, and then fall off. Yeah. It's like, no, wait, I'm gonna fall. Walks over, picks rope, throws it over. There, now I can safely fall.
Exactly.
Yep, that was it. Oh, thanks for watching the show. No, just kidding. What are we talking about today, guys?
Well, in the spirit of the new coming month, you know, the
You mean
April Fools, as these youths are calling tomorrow, the youths of the world,
The Utes?
Utes.
The Utes?
Utes.
youths,
Utes.
youths.
The Utes of the world are calling it April Fools.
That's a terrible Scottish accent.
I wasn't even going for Scottish. I don't even know what accent I was going for.
That was Scottish.
Did it come with Scottish?
It was Scottish mixed with Irish.
Irish. Was there a little Russian in there?
No, not at all.
Sure? Fools?
No.
No, not even.
Maybe
Not
German?
even. No.
Yeah.
Maybe Dutch, but no.
I don't even know a Dutch accent.
It's just a little. It's like boppy. The only thing of somebody speaking in Dutch, it's like they have like two things of beers, and they're just like. That's what I think. Sorry if that's racist. Anyways, back to what we were actually talking about. So tomorrow is April Fools.
Yes.
And there are going to be numerous gaming websites and magazines and actual games themselves pulling April Fool's pranks, which we've all been notified about 4 months in advance, because that's how April Fool's works, apparently.
Yeah.
We've been notified of them?
You haven't been told they're April Fool's jokes.
Cool.
Yeah.
They literally say, on April 1st, wink, 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 wink. Like, they said like 15 winks,
Sometimes
and then they continue with their message.
Sometimes it's not like, you know, reveal on April. Sometimes they reveal something in like January that's like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then April 1st we're down like, you guys fell for it.
Or sometimes,
But we'll make it now because you all love it.
sometimes they reveal that they have, you know, this amazing content coming up, and along the way they realize they're not going to make the deadline, and then they say it's an April Fool's joke.
I wonder how often that happens. We're like, April Fools, because we didn't meet our deadlines.
I feel like that's Valve every year.
No, Valve just stopped caring.
April
like,
Fools, there's no Half-Life 3.
No, they literally, every year, they're just like, guys, did we finish it? No? Do we get those cat pictures, though? Okay. At least we got the cat pictures.
Guys, we have a plan. We're going to make it. We're going to tell the world there's going to be a major announcement. We're going to hint strongly that it's going to be Half-Life 3.
We're going to have this
And
announcement
then
on March
it'll
3rd
be
at 3
Steambox.
o'clock. We're going to have this announcement on March 3rd at 3 o'clock.
There's a reason why they'll never release Half-Life 3. That's because every time they announce something, everyone in the world tunes in to watch it.
But no,
And that's the best PR that they could ever do.
But don't you get it? If Half-Life 3 is amazing, but ends on a cliffhanger like Half-Life 2 Episode 2, then every year we're going to be expecting the same thing for Half-Life 4. So it doesn't matter. It's a self-fulfilling
I think
prophecy.
Half-Life always ends on a cliffhanger, doesn't it?
Yeah, but at least you can say you played the
Yeah,
trilogy.
well, if you're going to continue the game on, yes. If you're not going to continue the game on, there's really no point ending on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but...
People get very angry about that, actually.
Yeah, they do. But...
Hence Half-Life 2.
Sonic
Yeah.
Saturday.
Stop.
That was cancelled. It was not ended. It was canceled.
But it was ended on a cliffhanger.
But they did finish it in the comics, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure they did, but, you know.
Go on.
We are on track.
No, no.
I'm on track.
Going back
right
to the
here.
tracks.
On track.
So we're steering to the track.
Yeah.
Really, I'm just going in circles here. This is awful. This is awful steering, actually.
Did I tell you the plan on track? Maybe it's a circular track. You don't know. Don't judge.
Maybe you have 2 steering wheels.
Maybe.
I don't know how this works.
One controls one wheel, one controls the other wheel, and you're crashing.
Dude, flips really.
But in recent years, especially the more recent, the more over the top it's gotten, every year on April Fool's, gaming stuff has happened. For example, last year in League of Legends, they released a huge, big new game mode called Ultra Rapid Fire, which is a kickback to their first April Fool's joke, in case no one's played, called Earth, which was a champion named Earth. And that's what something they do every year, is something with Earth in the name. I know that's a big one. Wasn't there one with Dying Light this year as well?
Yeah, superpowers or something. Let me see.
Believe that, on April Fool's, you get superpowers. You be able to punch the world in the face, pretty much. And Dying Light, zombies go flying, I believe. Should be all around good times.
Dying Light superpowers all day long.
Yep.
April 1st, and you'll receive a series of superpowers.
So, do you guys like that kind of wacky content? Sorry.
I like it to an extent if it's just something that like you go on and it's there. Now the Bethesda one we were talking about earlier, horse armor, not that good.
Can you punch the horse armor into space?
Well, the horse armor wasn't the actual joke, though.
The joke was that they doubled the price during the sale.
Exactly.
Which I guarantee you, some idiot went on there. The horse armor's finally on sale. Only 1,000 points. Ding. Or
Listen,
400 points. I
if
think.
somebody spent that much money on horse armor, they're their own enemy.
Horse armor is expensive, you know.
Yeah.
I make a horse shiny, new.
Well, it actually does serve a purpose in real life, but anyways.
Doesn't serve a purpose in the game, though.
No.
I feel that if you spend money on something that doesn't actually give you anything in the game, then you're wasting money anyway.
Yeah. Like color palettes and color swaps.
I don't know. I think my skins on League of Legends give me a very jovial output. Really helps unify my team. I get a better win rate out of it. So I think it really does help.
It is true.
I don't think you do.
It is true. I do follow the panda.
Everyone follows the panda.
I can't follow normal Tibbers. I gotta follow a panda.
What if you're in a tux? I have that skin.
Maybe in a tux, but when I'm playing without you and there's an Annie and they're like, quick, follow Tibbers, I'm like, I gotta follow a panda, man. You don't have a panda. And then they get very angry at me because they don't know what I'm talking about.
But
and then, you know, they rage quit, but still.
Yeah.
League.
But, so back onto the topic of, all of our culture. We recently, we just delved into the past a little bit and found out that EGM is like the master of trolls.
Yeah.
So I think they're one of the few that actually like started this trend of just really trolling everyone in the world.
They were trolling before it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like I think they actually might have like jeopardized their whole company a few times over like April Fool's jokes.
Shang Long.
Yeah.
Shang Long. God damn.
The Sonic and Tails thing was pretty big, though.
The Sonic and Tails thing was pretty big.
I don't think they ever actually confirmed that was a joke.
No, they didn't.
So, yes, if you go onto Smash Bros. Melee...
Yeah, in Super Smash Bros. Melee, it's a little known fact that you can you can unlock Sonic and
Ignore the man
Tails
behind the curtain.
if you play the Cruel Melee and defeat 100 opponents without dying.
It is like the worst thing they could have done. No, they were the worst one they could have done though. They could have like you survive for 30 minutes on unlimited.
On Cruel?
No,
You can
unlimited.
do that though.
It's doable, but after like minute 25 and you're burnt out and you're just like, oh my god, and then you, like somebody baby taps you because you've taken like one hit of damage a minute.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, woo, and then you have to do the whole thing over again and waste another half an hour of your life.
Imagine if it was an hour.
That's what the Cruel Melee was.
Imagine if it
Cruel
was an
Melee
hour.
was worse in a lot of ways because you get to like 90
Yeah.
and then you die.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have to do it all again.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
And then you get there,
Laughed, and I laughed.
and then you get to the 100 man, you're like, I did it!
And then you immediately jump off and die.
You jump off, die, nothing happens.
And you're just like, what? And then you think you did it wrong, so you do it again.
You think you're like, oh, I must have to keep my damage below a certain percentage, and I must have to do.
I must have to go over 100, not just at 100.
And it'd be 101, not 100.
I have to. The final one has to be a meteor smash, and
No, the game's
No.
not that good. Not that well coded.
I wasn't making up arbitrary rules. I thought maybe I read it wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was like maybe had to be over 100, not exactly 100.
Let's remember that once long ago there was the rumor that that if you beat the Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, 10 times in a row without turning the game off, you could then play it again with a gun. Link having a gun.
Well, I mean, in Link's Awakening, if you name your main character Zelda, all the music changes.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Mm-hmm. And you shoot bomb arrows.
Pew, pew, pew. That's a good sound.
That's actually a fact too,
But
Actually,
that's
and intentional.
There's also what are they called? The Star Fox R-Wings? There's R-Wings in Ocarina of Time.
yeah, no, I've seen them.
Where?
They're hidden in the game's code because they were used to test one of the bosses' flight paths.
Yep.
And you can actually,
Volvogaya?
yeah, and you can actually do some things to glitch the game and get the R-Wings to appear at any time in the game, pretty much, because they're just in the coding.
That's great.
Also, speaking of Legend of Zelda,
Yeah. This could have actually been an April Fool's joke if
No,
it had waited long enough.
1 second, can we just have one? Can we have a moment of silence, please?
Sorry, moment of silence.
And it's done. Is that why you wore the hat this episode? I didn't even put that together until just now. Did you really wear the hat for that?
No, actually, I didn't.
Okay.
I just feel like wearing hats. It's getting
But,
to be, it's springtime. It's when I wear my hats.
Okay. Anyways,
Oh,
so
wait, hold on.
Stop. No, we need
No,
to talk.
no.
We're not a talk show.
We're in
Wore
a
the
show.
wrong hat for this.
Well, that stinks.
We're in a show.
Do it. Switch during the break. Just
Yeah.
confuse people.
Hat.
Switch to your Zelda hat later.
Anyways, so you can pay homage in the second half.
Okay.
So, a few weeks back, we were very excited to announce that there's going to be a new Legend of Zelda TV show, and it's all sponsored, and it's going to be Netflix born, and it's going to be what the community wants. It's going to be freaking amazing.
It's Netflix and Nintendo working together to create a family-friendly Game of Thrones
Family friendly?
starring Link and Zelda.
And Michael Cera as Link.
that would have ruined the show. Guys, I don't want to do this.
Anyways, so, we gave, who we wanted to play certain characters, and we got a whole big spiel on it. Turns out, someone lied.
April Fools.
Yeah, it was apparently the whole article was a lie. Actually, the God, I can't remember his name. CEO of Nintendo. Japanese.
I always assumed that his first
Masumoto?
name was CEO, his middle name was Of, and his last name was Nintendo.
Anyways, I do not know his name.
Actually, because he's Japanese, it'd be the opposite, right?
Yes.
Yeah. His first name is Nintendo, and his last name is CEO.
There you go. Sartori Iwata.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that guy.
He confirmed in an interview, which for some reason they turned the interview into a top 10 list for some reason.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was really weird, but he confirmed in an interview that
Was it an interview with BuzzFeed?
no, it wasn't
okay.
actually, but it was just because people like list nowadays.
Also, it's an easier way because people don't like wall text anymore.
There's this construct. It's called paragraphs.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but journalism.
Journal. Okay.
Anyways.
But he confirmed that it was the entire article was completely false. That there was no such even talks with Netflix of making a show based on The Legend of Zelda or any Nintendo product.
Yeah, any of the IPs. Ever since and this isn't something that he said, but ever since they had the disaster with the Mario movie, they have pretty much sworn off any IP being made into a live action.
They've also
Gee, I wonder why.
Nintendo like experiments with like letting people touch their IPs, and then they give it to the wrong people, and then they just take it back and they hold it tight and they never let it go.
Yeah.
Let's like they did it with the Magnavox Odyssey. They gave Magnavox, here you can make games with The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers, and they made completely shit games for a system that wasn't even meant for games. And then Nintendo took it back and was like, no, only Nintendo makes these games now. And then they did it with Super Mario Bros. And
Just watching you sit
Yeah.
here go like,
yes,
It literally that's what you do after like a game of like or like a talk with somebody like on the phone. Be like, no, I hate you. And you're just like, oh, okay. At least I love you.
then I take all my IPs back and I hold them close.
You can't do that. We're not those type of IP guys or T guys.
Yeah.
Not a networker.
But they did the same thing with the Mario Bros. Movie. They gave it out. They let someone try to make a movie.
And then they're like, oh, so never again will there ever be any real action in the world.
And I'm still waiting for that sequel, man.
Actually, I do thoroughly enjoy that movie just for the hilarity of it.
It is so bad it is good, actually.
Yeah. But,
Box office bomb, but oh well. Come on,
Now it's
Nintendo. Nintendo, please.
it's been time. It's been time. It's time.
The wound is healed.
We all forgot.
well,
We didn't forget, but we can now laugh and appreciate it.
And I'm sure you can too, if you find it in your heart.
No, Saratoga, he despises live action. He's just be like, he just burst in, like, they're like, hey, let's make a Zelda movie. Everyone actually wanted to see that. He comes in, no, live action! Shuts the doors again, walks away.
But
and no YouTube either.
Yeah.
but like I don't get this from this company. This is the company that has greenlit the Super Mario Bros. Super Show 1, 2, and 3, because they had 3 shows with a live action version of Mario and Luigi prefacing each show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yes, but
they
how did he... I think the reason why they kept that, though, is they're trying to make him a marketable TV show for kids. And it doesn't matter if it sucks. You know, TV shows suck when you're a kid. You just watch them, because that's a cartoon. And you're like, things can happen in cartoons.
Some,
You know what I mean?
some cartoons are real good.
Yeah, some cartoons were
Oh,
really
yeah,
good.
no, I'm not saying all cartoons are bad, but
Like Avatar or
yeah.
Sonic Saturday and
Stop.
Or no, really, that was a really good show.
It was.
Whenever you start talking about Sonic.
Can we talk about Rugrats then?
Yeah.
Rugrats was a great show.
I'm sorry, I talk about Sonic a lot when I'm affected by the aura from my shirt.
I know. That's
Yeah,
why I'm trying to like cut it off. I'm just like I'm letting you keep your Sonic shirt on. Like you almost had to do this show topless. So
Yeah,
I'm trying
that's
to
not
like.
gonna happen.
Well, you can show your working muscles.
Oh yes.
We'll have Team Chris over here. You know. Oh, it'd be so funny if we had Team Chris. Like everyone just tweets at us, Team Chris.
Everyone tweet at us, Team Chris.
Anyways, so yeah, unfortunately, this means that we don't get a Zelda show, which disappoints everybody. But it kind of dashes a lot of hope for Nintendo doing anything.
Yeah, it's
Because this was one way of Nintendo making a whole bunch of money really quickly.
Something they're in dire need of.
Yeah, seeing as a lot of their consoles recently have failed.
yeah. Another thing Satoru Iwata said in that interview was that the Wii U was overpriced, and he had to, and he was outvoted on the pricing of it. I feel like the Wii U would have done better if they just, what was it, $350?
Mm.
300.
Even $250. $250 would have been perfect.
I'm saying even just dropping it by $50. Just,
Eh.
what was the Wii? Wii was 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was expensive.
Yeah, for the Wii it was.
Yeah.
But anyone remember what Microsoft's answer to the Wii was?
Nothing.
No. They had a press conference, and someone asked them, like, do you think the Wii is going to be a major player? And their answer was, well, I think the Wii is that system you kind of buy when you have the extra money to get a second system. So why don't we do the Xbox 360 then? You got your Xbox 360 for your major gaming, and then you got your Wii for your parties.
Actually, we did outsell all the other gaming consoles.
Oh,
It had a longer life cycle, so it had more time.
yes.
I mean, the Xbox's actual answer to the Wii was the Kinect.
Yeah, which was glitchy at best on the 360.
Yeah, but it made
and
us
now
go in the
it's
direction.
And
now
now it
it's
spies on you.
now it's TSA quality heat scans, and like if any of us have a boner right now, Microsoft knows.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm okay with it. What are they going to do with that information? Nothing. It's okay. Doesn't bother me.
And they're just collecting a database of heat boners.
It doesn't bother me.
Why did you even go there? Like,
I don't know.
Why did you go to that topic?
That's what I was trying to.
Because you brought up the
all
Kinect.
the no, but of all the things you could talk about the Kinect, you know, invading privacy, you had to go to boners? Really?
Because I want Microsoft to read.
I mean, is this what you're thinking about during the show?
I don't even know what I'm thinking about during the show, actually.
Things pop in the head.
This was actually a conversation that someone... I was at a video game store and I was talking to them about the Xbox One, and this was their major concern about the Kinect. This is also the clerk I was talking to. His major concern about the Kinect was that.
I'm personally not that worried about it, but yeah, every time I see it, I'm disappointed now. I'm so disappointed that there's no Zelda show. I was so pumped.
So was I.
But our hearts will go on.
Our hearts will go on?
Yeah, our hearts will. Oh, you're gonna die?
Yeah.
That was a solid thump. I'm proud of you. So Chris is off the show. I don't know what happened over there.
I'm back.
We gotta double tap Chris real quick.
Double tap.
Tell me that. Rule number 1, double tap. Always double tap.
Which is funny, Zombieland is the only zombie movie I've ever seen where they actually mention that they don't really care about ammo.
Yeah. Also, I just like rule number 2. Cardio, cardio, cardio. Anyways.
Is that 1 or 2? 1 was seatbelts. No.
1 was double tap, 2 is cardio, 3 is seatbelts.
Okay. Wasn't there a rule 48?
Yeah, there was.
Okay, back to the show.
So, speaking of undead things, we... last week we showed off the fancy box art of a lot of games, and Bloodborne being one of them.
Yeah.
I have had a chance to play it since then, and it's amazing. It is one of the best games I've played in a while. Not the best, but one of the best. But it gives me a totally different feel than stuff like Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2s. It's a totally different feel to me. And I've talked to some other people, and they don't share the same opinion.
Really?
I think it's more of Ninja Gaiden-esque, actually.
So, fast-paced, difficult gameplay.
Fast-paced, difficult gameplay where it's a lot of just beat 'em ups. Like, you do a combo, they die, you move on to the next enemy. And super hard boss fights, and it's
basically the combination of the enemies and the amount of enemies that makes it hard, not exactly the enemies themselves.
Correct. Like, for example, I can 3-hit something with, at this stage of the game, I'm very early on, I can 3-hit almost anything. And my entire stamina bar is about 5 hits. So I still have stamina to dodge afterwards. To me, that's not that hard.
No.
Granted, I haven't made it very far because I literally track down every single person and murder them. And that's gotten me killed a lot of the time. But it's kind of like if you set Ninja Gaiden on the hardest difficulty.
Who does that?
I did. I've beaten every Ninja Gaiden game on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, what about Devil May Cry too?
I don't play Devil May Cry that often. I don't like the whole combo system. I don't like having to pause the menu, switch my weapon, to continue a combo. I don't like that.
You have to do that.
In one of them.
I'll be doing before us.
Devil May Cry 4, yeah, that's what you had to do. To continue your combo, you had to switch out your weapons. The only way to do that is hit the start menu. It wouldn't bring a combo, but you had to do it. To get an S combo?
Yeah.
And when you're playing on the hardest difficulty, an S combo is the only way to get real good points. Anyways, so, I love it. It's one of, I love the Ninja Gaiden series. I hated Dark Souls, though.
I hated Dark Souls. It wasn't the fact that it was slow gameplay. It was the fact that it was like...
Is the terrible hitboxes.
The horrible hitboxes.
And it was just
your hitbox was 5 times the size of your character.
Yeah.
And the horrible range system. And it was just...
The only thing that I can have that I criticize about this game is the targeting system, actually. The targeting system on this one's garbage. You can seek an enemy by clicking one of the thumbsticks, and you can switch back and forth. Great. But if you kill the enemy that you're currently targeting, your targeting system drops out. It doesn't auto-seek a next target. And then it's hard to target the next enemy by the time they swing. So if you're in the trenches, you're down there just in the thick of it trying to battle, and you're trying to actually focus down a certain enemy, it's very hard to switch between enemies and keep on killing people. I say the only real way I found around that when there's like 3 or 4 enemies is to get in close with my axe, chop up a bit, then dodge backwards, and if you hit L1 by standard configs, you actually transform your weapon. Mine extends into a gigantic polearm axe, and I have a very large range and a very wide sweeping thing. So I'll do a bunch of damage and then back off and then do a widespread shot and kill like 3 or 4 people. That's the only way I found around that so far.
Okay.
So that's my major complaint with it, but honestly it's kind of like you took Ninja Gaiden and you added Dark Souls difficulty to it on normal, and they had a baby. The controls are nice and tight, the hitboxes are back to being good, the gameplay's fun, and it's faster pace.
You're playing on hard mode?
Hell no. I'm not a masochist. I'm playing on the easiest difficulty because I'm a whip. Also, I don't have that kind of time, because there's no way I could be able to play for about 2 hours and then go to work, come home, forget everything I learned, and then try to play that game again. On the hardest. Yes.
Yes, this is... Well, if it's anything like Dark Souls, then the way you're supposed to go through the game is you're supposed to learn from your mistakes. Which was impossible in Dark Souls because my hitbox was too big.
No, Dark Souls, you're not supposed to learn from your mistakes. You're just supposed to die over and over again. And the developers just laugh all the way to the bank.
So I've done a lot of dying. I've died over, I think, like 300 times already.
See, every time you die in Dark Souls, it sends a message to the developers, and they're like, ha ha ha, this person died one more time.
In Dark Souls 2, in the main area, there is a monument that says how many deaths there have been worldwide in the game.
Yeah, that was my point.
And they put that in the game because Dark Souls became so famous for dying. Even though I hear Demon Souls, which was the actual first game, was actually even harder. Of course, I have no idea if that's for the same reason as Dark Souls or if it was actually just difficult.
I would imagine it was more difficult and still had the same problem. So they dialed back the difficulty a little bit.
I feel like they've dialed back the difficulty with each subsequent game, actually.
Oh yeah, because they gain more popularity and they want more people to join it, so they make it not as hard, so people will continue playing it and recommend it to other people.
And speaking of masochists, if you look on YouTube, what?
This is gonna get weird. I know it.
No, it's not gonna get weird.
It sounds like it's gonna get weird.
Your first weapon in Dark Souls is a broken sword, a hilt.
Yeah.
There are full gameplays on YouTube of people going through the entire game of Dark Souls with nothing but that frickin' hilt. It does almost no damage.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
I was like sitting there watching like...
You realize that the person actually beat the game with a Guitar Hero controller, right?
I don't think I could watch that.
Literally the guy...
How do you move?
I don't know.
Is it the whammy bar?
Dude, he shred major though. He was shredding.
Is it the whammy bar?
Like that's how he won the game. He just shredded major lights. He didn't even know he was playing really. He was jamming out.
He was playing acoustically?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how the game's actually designed to be played.
Yeah.
All along, you just had to play through the Fire and Flames on a Guitar Hero controller. You could beat Dark Souls.
It's the exact sequence. An exact sequence.
It is the perfect combination of button presses.
No, you don't even face anybody. You literally sidestep like perfectly. And, like,
he just dodges everything.
No, like, he doesn't even activate any enemies. Like he just walks on a perfectly pathed line to the end. He's like kind of does like a jolly stroll all the way to the end.
You know all those bosses that you have to beat. Apparently, if you do this, they will just kill themselves.
You don't have to beat them. They're still napping. You just kind of walk around perfectly.
Do the Fire and Flames as their nap song.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't trigger anybody before them, they're actually not alerted to your presence. They don't wake up. They were already sleeping. I mean, you woke them up. That's why they always fight you.
It's like that Sonic Boom glitch where the map doesn't load until you step over.
Jacob doesn't want to talk about that game.
Yeah. You talk about that.
And I don't want to talk about that game. So
okay.
you know.
And on that note, it is 8:30. We're gonna go on our break. We'll be back.